Alright, good afternoon, folks. This is a bit of a redo. I got interrupted by my wonderful husband working on our chicken coop right now. So I'm not going to repeat too much of what I just said. Basically, this is the Castile soap that I finished off with last night, around between 11:30 and midnight. I did not oven process this. I went ahead and kept my crock pot on all night. I kept it on low because that's the lowest setting I have, and I left the lid off of it just a smidge, like I left a crack so some heat could escape, so it didn't build up and possibly burn the soap or cause any, overheating issues. The soap was still, around 250 degrees throughout the night, in the 200s basically. It was very hot. When I got up this morning, there was a nice creamy dark tan skin on top. Underneath is the liquid that we see here. I've not diluted. This is how Glycerin method behaves most of the time, especially if you don't do like water discounts or anything like that. Basically, if you do a 3-to-1 glycerin to lye ratio, your glycerin should be liquidy like this. This particular batch, because of the olive oil, I had to add a little bit more glycerin. I added another 3 ounces. In the last video segment, you all saw me just pour a little bit in, so I'm guesstimating that was about 1 ounce. But then I actually measured out another 2 ounces and added to this. So my guesstimation is I add another 3 ounces of glycerin to it. There are still some micro bubbles in this because I just stirred them back in. I can easily just break them up. Actually, I could just break them up using water. I just boiled my dilution water. Boiled 4 ounces of it. And here it is. What I plan on doing is, let's see. Yeah, that's 4. So I'm going to add 2 ounces of water to this. Oh, please don't foam up all ugly. Yes, I have alcohol on hand, so it combats bubbles. Ugh. Yeah, when I add water to this, it bubbles up significantly. There, I've added 2 ounces of my purified water to it. And just stir it all in. Oh, no. That was interesting. I'm pissed. I went ahead, added another 2 ounces of water to this. There are some extensive micro bubbles in it, so I added a 1/2 ounce of ethyl alcohol, also known as Everclear, to help break them up and bring it to the surface and loosen this. So I'm just going to let this sit in the crock for a while until all those come to the surface. In any case, I can do, at least show you a clarity test. Let's see. Put that there. See, fix the focus. It doesn't want to fix. It's too dark. And that is too bright. There we go. There we go. We're going to do a quick clarity test, water clarity. Here's my purified water. It's just in a baby food jar. I'm just going to scoop a little bit of this out and drop it in. See how it behaves. I think a good amount in there. And let's see. Oop. I'm going to move this back so I don't get anything in it. I'm just going to agitate it significantly. This is room temperature water, so I'm not going to have it dissolve as quickly. I might go ahead and heat it up. I might. Well, as it stands, the water is still clear. Here, we're gonna take this to the window. Turn the flash off. Aside from the giblets left in it. There's your clarity. You can see into my backyard. Straight through. Let's see. See, there's my coop. Sorry for the shaky hands. I'm really trying to steady right now. This is hideous. I'm usually good at getting a good clear camera shot. Let's see, take it out of the sunlight, maybe it'll behave then. There we go, but you see it. There's your clarity. And I said from, you know, the chunks that haven't dissolved yet. It's as clear as we're gonna get right now. You can also go ahead and do a pH test on it, just to make sure that we're within a safe level. Here's my meter. I just turned it on. I calibrated it fully yesterday. No, not off. So it's ready to go for today. Well, here's the result. It's still going down a little bit. It looks like, just based on several trials with olive oil soap, that its natural pH is around a 10. So it is a very alkaline soap. I can do a test with the phenol drops just to see, you know, how they would turn out, because there are two theories with the phenol drops as to how they are used. What I have always researched with phenol drops is that they indicate pH with a range between 8.2 to 10 or 12. So I can give it an average of 8.2 to 11. And it goes from clear to varying shades of pink, depending on pH. Light pink being, you know, the low end of its range, and very bright pink fuchsia being the high end of its range. Another theory that I heard or read recently is that the drops are meant to only find free lye in soap, not to actually indicate a pH range. That being said, if it flashes pink, then that means there is excessive free lye, and if it flashes, you know, a light pink, then it's very minimal, very little detected. I can go ahead and do the drops, but I know for a fact that there's no free lye in this, because I super fatted at 2%, and then I added another 2 ounces of olive oil to this. I lye discounted at the 2%. And then I added another 2 ounces of olive oil as a super fat. And as you see, the pH is going down. So that's pretty much what it seems like its natural fatty acid pH is. I'm going to go dig up the drops real quick so you can see the correlation between the drops color and the high pH range. If you give me just a minute. Stay there, camera, please. Here are the phenol drops. They are phenolphthalein solution drops. What you're supposed to do is drop them into your solution, but in the terms of soap making, you are supposed to dissolve your soap in, apparently it's preferably alcohol, preferably ethyl alcohol, but distilled water is just as acceptable and will still, you know, garner you the same result. And then you get, you know, your flash of whatever the pH is supposed to be for that range. So, just so you can see how it's spelled, just really quick. Oop, there we go. And this is the company that I purchased from, dudadiesel.com. There are other chemical supply companies you can purchase these from, and they're relatively cheap. Honestly, they're more accurate and probably cheaper per use than using pH strips. FYI. Oh, see, look. So it is going down to much nicer, acceptable ranges, and the rest of the bits are still dissolving, and it's still clear. There we go, so you're not looking at the old tape. There we go. So, just going to set this up here. And I'm going to test this theory, or, well, I don't want to say theory, but I am going to, I guess, test this theory that I heard about the drops being only used for testing free lye. Again, I know there's no free lye in this because I super fatted. I did a lye discount on the calculator, and then I manually super fatted by adding extra oil. So I know there's no free lye. But we will see what this color flashes. Those 3 drops. More. And you can see it's already turning. Give it a stir. Can't really tell from above. So we will go to the window light. Actually, let me just come down here. Here we go. As you can see, that's the color of the drops. And we'll bring the meter back. I'm going to let that settle out. The meter likes to shoot up in its pH and then drop down. But there we go. So that's a direct correlation. The shade of the color versus the actual pH. But this is done. This is pretty much everything right here. This is why it's very important to have accurate methods of testing for doneness. Zap testing is not always accurate. Just from my own personal experience, I've licked soap with a lye excess before, and it didn't do anything. I know everybody's tongue sensitivities are different, and some people probably do get their little zaps, and some people don't, but that's why it's not accurate. Accuracy is something that's consistent across different examples or instances. A calculator is accurate because 2 people can use the same calculator and plug in 2 + 2 and it'll say 4. If that makes any sense. 2 people can lick the same soap and one person will probably get a zap and another person won't. Anyways, that's it. This is a done batch. The pH is probably going to further go down with this meter. Let's see, it's down to 9.8. And it's just going to slowly go down before it times out again. If I wanted to neutralize this even further, I could. But this is after adding an extra 2 ounces of oils just to make sure that there were no free lye. So, and this is what the pH is of it. This is natural for this soap, it seems. And if you choose to neutralize after the fact, as in dropping the pH more, that's, up to you. That's actually what I plan on doing with this soap later on. So next time this batch is seen, it'll definitely have a completely different pH. But you have your visual clarity test here. You have your visual clarity, you have the phenol, and then you have pH all in one setting. And this soap is done. It cooked for over 12 hours. So that's it. I've already diluted it. I put 4 ounces of water in it. And I'm just gonna let it sit and cook out those micro bubbles. This is my own issue I'll have to deal with during the day. I wish you all could see what it looks like, completely clear. And in fact, I might come back once it is completely clear and all the bubbles are out to show you what it's supposed to look like, diluted and not full of micro bubbles. Anyways, that's it. Alrighty, good afternoon, folks. We have finally, well, I have finally got this diluted, finished. It took me 2 or 3 days to do this. I don't even remember when I started at this point. But yeah, finally got it. This 16-ounce oil batch, and I can't remember how much paste it yielded, or how much actual soap it yielded, but when it was all said and done, based on my recipe, I ended up diluting with 43 ounces of water and fighting with this soap to get it to behave. I'm spritzing with the alcohol to keep the skin from forming while I'm finishing this last bit of the segment. Yeah, that actually does help too. If you're trying to do something and you don't want the skin to form right away. Again, the alcohol breaks up surface tension. So it'll keep it smooth for a little while. It's not a permanent thing. Anyways, so this is the in the pot viscosity of it. I have not tested its final pH yet. It's honestly probably a little too warm for that. Let's see, I'm using a skewer. You can kind of tell its viscosity, how it slowly runs down it, because it's in the air, so it's going to cool. And that'll give me, instead of doing the drip method on a cold glass, this will give me a bit of a snapshot of how it's going to behave. It's a bit, well, of course air exposure is going to cause it to dry up, but for the most part, it's pretty good. If I need to, I'll add more water, but as it stands, this is my ideal viscosity. And as I said, it's still warm, so it's going to thicken a little bit, and that's okay. I've got an empty glass here, clean spoon, no tricks, and you can see the spoon in the pot. So that'll give you an idea of its clarity, but let's go ahead and scoop some into the glass. Two, three. I mean, you can see right through the glass as I'm pouring this in here. I know I could probably do this with a bigger spoon, but I don't have one that'll fit in this glass easily. And it's still got some micro bubble, well, not micro, it still has bubbles in it, within its soap. So I might need a little bit more water just to help loosen those boogers up a bit. A little nifty trick I picked up while I've been sitting here diluting and working for like the last, day. Like I said, I've been working on it for a couple days, but just, in the last day, I figured out something nifty. I know a lot of us use crock pots for most part, and even though we capped it, cap it off to keep evaporation from happening, sometimes air will still, it's not airtight. So I've figured out a way to kind of help deal with that, and that's and I'm using what's on hand, but I used a paper towel and I draped over this, and then I put the lid on top of the paper towel. So it kind of, I'm not gonna say it sealed it, but it was less likely for air to get in and less likely for evaporation to happen and less likely for the skin to form as heavily, which, the thicker the skin, the harder it is to stir back into the pot. I don't mind like the thin skin that's trying to form right here, but like super thick, retarded skin, yeah, that's a bit, bit of a pain in the butt to deal with. Anyways, here we go, just slowly scooping it in. See, like I said, no tricks, no crazy tricks. I'm not gonna pull out, like some commercial soap or anything. Don't want anybody thinking that I'm pulling out some commercial soap, but like, hey, guess what? This is what I made. No. I honestly don't have any commercial soap. Well, correction, I think there's some in my bathroom, but it was left behind. It's nothing I bought. But anyways, stick that right there. I'm gonna go to the light of the window because, that'll definitely be like, hey, look how clear that is. Voila. Ta-da. You can see through it. So pretty. We moved their coop today, so it's over there. But ta-da! Hey, and that fits right there on that edge. How does that look, folks? Gorgeous, ain't it? So, chilling out in the baby food jar. And that's so cool because I can take a picture while I'm recording. And one from up the bottom, because I'm a dork like that. There. I don't know why it's got a flash. I don't need flash, but oh well. That's it. I might actually test the pH with that a little bit while it's sitting there. But that's it, guys. That's what it looks like, apparently. It's a beautiful, beautiful, like, honey amber coloring. It's gorgeous. If you give me a minute, I can go run and grab my pH meter and we can do a quick snapshot of the pH. I know it's going to continue to drop during the whole thing as it stabilizes, but we can get a quick snapshot of it. And, for my recipe, because as I mentioned throughout this whole thing, I did a few tweaks. But for my recipe, for the 16 ounces of oil, I did a 2% super fat using I used my soap light calculator on my Android device, but I actually compared it to Summer Bee Meadow. So if you were to use Summer Bee Meadow to formulate this, it would be a 16 ounces of oil with a 2% super fat. And then I turned around and added another 2 ounces of super fat to the pot. If that makes any sense to you. And I also did 3 extra ounces of glycerin to dissolve my lye. Or no, 3 extra ounces of glycerin added into the pot, so next time around I'm going to do an extra 3 ounces of glycerin, more than what the recipe calls for. I just ended up adding it to the pot later on because I wanted the soap to be more fluid, and it worked out to my benefit. So that is something I will do next go round for this particular type of soap, because Castile is very temperamental, as I've noticed for the past 3 days. Yeah. Be right back. I'm going to go get that meter. Here we go. Ta-da! There's my meter. Rinse off the storage fluid. I don't want that in my soap, and I really should have rinsed this with some tap and some purified water, so don't get that in my soap. So, there we go. Yeah, okay, now I rinse it off. I had to rinse off the storage solution so it wouldn't, affect my readout. There we go. Just now turning it on, and we're gonna just place it in the soap. Give it a little jig so there's no air bubbles. Oh my! Jig, 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 jig. I like to make sure that the probe is completely surrounded by soap. And check that shizzy out, folks. Now, keep in mind, you notice the temperature right there is 88 degrees. Now, even though this is an automatic temperature compensating pH meter, I still don't understand how that works out. But the ATC, automatic temperature compensating function of it, which, hey, it shows up right there in that corner. Even with that, to make the appropriate automatic corrections, the pH is still going to be, and from what I've learned, at this particular temperature, it can be about 0.5 higher than what the actual reading is. And I tested it with another batch where I was trying to achieve a pH of 7 with, and I got it down to either a 7 or a 7.3, I can't remember exactly, but I, based on the temperature, I guesstimated it to jump back up to 7.5 when it cooled down. And when I tested it later after it cooled to room temperature, lo and behold, it went up to around 7.5. So, this is a guesstimation. This is probably about a 9.6. At the same time, this is still going down. So, I'm pleased with this overall. I mean, I could pop this in the freezer and let it cool and then take it again and, speed that up. But overall, this is a good pH. This is amazing for what I've done to this recipe. I'm not saying that your results will be the exact same. I would hope so. I have not added anything. There are no buffers, no acids, nothing. Sorry for the wiggliness. I have a new kitten that's trying to creep into my kitchen right now. Anyways, I have not added anything to this soap. I kid you not, I swear. This is, for this temperature, the natural pH of this soap. And as you see, it is going down. Don't ask what I just did. Don't ask. But anyways, this is going to continue to go down. And even as it continues to go down, the soap itself is going to cool. And so it'll just automatically adjust as it does. And that's what's good about having an automatic temperature compensating pH meter. Not all meters do this. So when you do select a pH meter, make sure that it does have that function. This is also an automatic calibrating pH meter, meaning I push buttons and I put it in the solutions, the appropriate buffer solutions, and it takes the reading, whereas there are manual pH meters where you have to manually, in the back of the meter, turn screws to make the adjustments, and I'm like, I ain't tampering with that, because that leaves too much room for human error. But hey, that's a beautiful soap. Here we go. It's just hanging out right there. And, let's see. I think I got the picture of it. Okay. Alright, well, anyways. This has been my work. Yeah, I'm definitely probably going to add another 2 ounces to this. So this will definitely bring it up to 45 ounces of water at the end of it all. And that should be just absolutely perfect. And I like nice round numbers like that as well. That's just me. That's a little bit of my neuroticism at play, I guess. Or maybe not, I don't know. I hope that this, video series, or this video, or whatever I end up uploading it as, I hope it was helpful for you. Just to remind you and reiterate, Castile soap is its own little beast. I guess this does explain why people do charge more for Castile soap, even the people who make the bar soaps. And, all they do is just pour it and then let it sit. It is its own beast. It is special in its own, and it does command that luxury and respect and that price tag. I spent 3 days doing this, just diluting this. I have not spent 3 days diluting a single soap since I did a water batch. And that was that was a coconut oil soap. My Glycerin method batches are usually a whole lot quicker than this. Usually a day, not even a day, and this took me 3 days. So total mad respect for Castile soap. Anything else, any other soap that claims it's a Castile and it has more than olive oil in it, as far as oils are concerned, it's not a Castile. And no, Castile definitely, it is its own beast. It commands its own respect and its own bit of patience to work with it. So, I think that's it. If there are any questions, you can find me on the Liquid Soap Makers Facebook group, or you can leave some comments below the video, what have you. I hope y'all have a good day. Let's see. Just because I can. It looks like it's stabilizing at that pH right now. For that temperature. But anyways, y'all have a good day. Take care. Happy soaping.